How does helicopter parenting affect children? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about helicopter parenting. Helicopter parenting is a fairly recent concept that was brought up probably within the last 15 years related to parenting. Maybe that doesn't seem recent to you, but in the whole history of parenting, this is a new term. In this video, we're going to be talking about what helicopter parenting means, just briefly in case you don't know, and then we're going to move on to what the effects of helicopter parenting are on children. When a person is a helicopter parent, what does that mean? That means they hover, just like a helicopter does. So a helicopter can stay in the same place and just hover over the people, and they don't move. They don't go anywhere. They're just stuck there all the time watching what's going on. So you could be trying to get away from a helicopter, but it can always stay with you because it can just hover over the top of you. So it's impossible to get away. That's the concept behind helicopter parenting. So some parents like to watch over absolutely everything that their child does. The parent gives feedback and communication on every moment, every thought, every word, all the things. That's called helicopter parenting. And while the parent is usually doing it because they have the best intentions in mind, they want to make sure they keep their child safe. Maybe they're afraid even inside that their child might not be safe in certain circumstances or that their child isn't ready. What they're not doing is they're not trusting in the child's ability to learn, to problem solve, to grow, to get through some of those bumps in life and to actually come out better after the fact. It is true that we oftentimes have to go through some hardships to become the best versions of ourselves. Parents who protect their children from hardships could unknowingly cause problems for their children. Now, one of the good things that could happen from helicopter parenting is maybe a child does not get injured as often when they're a child. Maybe the child feels totally safe. Maybe the child feels happy sometimes because they don't feel like they have to problem solve or handle any conflict or problems because the parent always does those things for the child. Those are some of the potential good effects that could come from helicopter parenting, but there are a lot of negative effects that could come from helicopter parenting and do. I've seen it for many years as I've worked with parents all over the world with their most important thing, their children. Probably one of the number one negative effects of helicopter parenting is a child is not used to stepping out of the comfort zone. And so since they are waiting for approval from everyone else, it actually decreases their sense of self-confidence. They feel like they have to have someone tell them what to do all of the time. They don't learn how to problem solve because they don't step out of the comfort zone often enough. They don't learn that it's okay to make mistakes, that life is about making mistakes as we progress and learn how to do things better and how to not have mistakes in the future. They don't learn these vital lessons, and so they become very fragile. They become perfectionistic. They think that everything has to go just perfect every time. And if they can't make things go perfect and there's no one there to make it go perfect for them, they oftentimes have a meltdown. This is super important to recognize. The psychological effects of never being able to make a mistake are great. So a loving parent teaches their child what to do, then they allow them to have some choice or some free will. They make mistakes sometimes, they correct them for those mistakes, so they teach them what lessons they need to learn. I think some parents micromanage because they feel like it's more convenient for them. I'm going to be just honest about that. Some parents don't want to deal with the trouble of correcting a child or maybe having to have a child do an extra consequence, a negative consequence or something like that. So instead, they'd like to just make it all go right the first time. Maybe the parent has anxiety. Well, they're unknowingly, potentially passing anxiety about things going perfect onto their child. This is not a good scenario. So what do we do about this? There are so many things that parents don't understand about their own behaviors, and if they just knew a little bit more and could self-examine a little bit more, maybe self-govern themselves, as this channel is all about, then they would probably make completely different decisions. I'd like to go into some more detail with you about what you can do so that you don't have to be a helicopter parent and micromanage everything all the time. And there's a video where I talk about that in a lot more detail. It's called How Parental Conflict Affects Children. So go ahead and click on that video next. I'll see you there.